guys, welcome back to my channel. I decided to do a little autumn TBR with all the books I want to read this autumn, fall season. My cat is here and she might be a little annoying, but yeah, so like last Christmas I got a ton of books and a lot of them were kind of spooky, dark academia, fall books to me, so I didn't actually read that many of them. So that's one of my goals for the next few months, is I would really like to read my Christmas presents from last year before Christmas this year. There's also been some new releases that I'm really excited about but haven't actually read, or little things like that. Yeah, just I feel like it is my favorite season to read books, and I've already started reading some kind of seasonal books in September, and in October and November that's just going to increase. So I'm very excited to share with you what I have and what I'm looking forward to, and then at the end of the year we can see if I read any of them. Okay, so first I'm going to mention the library book that I need to read like now, because I think it's due like next week. But that is Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. I started it, I read the first chapter and I really enjoyed it. I'm not really sure. I like to go into thrillers and mysteries like knowing as little as possible, because I just feel like that makes the twist start immediately if you don't really know what's going on. But it basically is like a podcast format mix. There's some elements of like, I wouldn't say like mixed media necessarily, but like I think some like podcast interviews, so I guess technically yes, mixed media. But it's about these two women who meet and they have the same birthday, but then so like they start a podcast together. I don't really know, and then some weird shit starts happening. I'm excited about it. I really enjoyed the Lisa Jewell that I have read, and I have other Lisa Jewells to read. Maybe I'll read those instead if I don't get this done before it's due back to the library. We'll see. And then the next one that isn't really fitting into some of the themes I have here would be Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which is just a book I really want to read. I've been seeing a lot of really good reviews, some interesting, more negative reviews. My girlfriend loved it, and I think it just seems exactly like something I would love. So I really need to read this. I feel like if you're on BookTube, you probably know what it's about, but it's basically about these two young women who are aspiring authors, and one of them like dies and the other one steals her unfinished manuscript and also pretends to like be Asian because the girl who died was Asian. And so it's about like publishing and about racism and all of that stuff. So I'm really interested. I love kind of like a commentary, a satire, an unlikable narrator. Love that stuff. So I think I will love this. And then I have The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman, which is the third book in the Thursday Murder Club mysteries. Don't really know much about what this one is about, but it takes place after the second one. I think the second one where it ended, I think this might pick up like with that same like little bit of a mystery that almost started, and I am waiting on my Libby loan for the audiobook to come through because I really like the audiobooks for these, so I like to like read them together, so hopefully that will come through very soon and I can read it. I cannot recommend the Thursday Murder Club series enough. Like if you're looking for like a cozy mystery for the autumn season or just for always, I think they're so well written and the characters are so incredible and the mysteries are so good, and they're definitely like cozy and just make you like, I always like happy cry when I'm reading them. So yes. Then I have books that feel a little more spooky season-y, a little creepier, I guess. The first one is Notes on an Execution by Dania Kukafka. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this I've heard so many people love this. Last year was like a big book from some people whose like reviews I trust, and it's basically this man is on death row and is going to die in 12 hours, and yeah, it is him reflecting on his life. I think there's other points of view on that, like from maybe one of his victims. Through a kaleidoscope of women, a mother, a sister, a homicide detective, we learn the story of Ansel's life. So that's really interesting. I find books where like it's other people like reflecting on someone kind of fascinating, and I've heard only good things about this. I believe the audiobook is on Scribd, so if there's an audiobook, I'm more likely to read it, because then like I can read it when I'm in the car or when I'm at home, like back and forth. So very excited about that. A little creepy, a little messed up, very fun. Then there's The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gold. I think they have another book that has come out recently that also sounds good, and I feel like I've seen more people talking about that one, but this one is basically, it's like a YA book about like a girl who is her like family's ghost hunters, like a TV show ghost hunter kind of thing, and they go to this town to investigate ghosts. It says teenagers are disappearing. Sounds like ghosts, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So, and I think it is also like a queer romance, and I love that, and I love ghosts and anything like that. I hope it's actually ghosts. That'd be fun, right? It's never actually ghosts, but maybe it'll be ghosts. The final book is actually, it's not a book I got recently, it's not any of that. I've had this for a while, but it is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, and I just read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and loved it and really love his writing, so I think I want to try this. And my girlfriend didn't love it, but I think she went into it like, she said she like went into it expecting something a little different, so she was more like disappointed in it, whereas like because she told me what to expect, I feel like I will go in like knowing what it is. But it's what it says. It's about these girls who survived a serial killer, and they like different serial killers. They're all like the final girls from history or whatever, and they have a support group, and I believe they start getting killed. It's very much the similar like idea of Final Girls by Riley Sager, which I read and enjoyed, but it's Grady Hendrix, so I'm sure it gets like campy and weird and gross, and I'm excited to see how that is. And then the final and largest category is dark academia and dark academia adjacent things. So the priority is finishing If We Were Villains. I got, I think, a little less than halfway, and I probably won't restart it. I'll probably like back up a little bit, but I just wasn't feeling it. I was trying to read it, I think in like February or March, and I was just going through a lot mentally, emotionally, and just was not feeling a dark academia book. I didn't find any of the characters almost at all, especially the main character, likable, so that was hard. But I think that now it is the season for it, and it sounds like, I feel like it's something I can enjoy more now. So basically I've read half of it, so I know what it's about. Do I remember? It follows these college kids who are in like this special program for like theater, and all they do is like Shakespeare, and it's kind of, they have like little rivalries about who is gonna play who, and they have these types, they always get cast, and there's all this drama, and like the main guy is like, who's like always gets like the lead guy, like he'd be like Hamlet in Hamlet or whatever, he sucks, and the like narrator of this has like a thing for his girlfriend. There's just, it's just so much drama. They just walk around like quoting Shakespeare, and then, you know, at some point there was a murder, and the narrator, like main character, there is like in he gets out of prison for the murder. But like, did he do it? What happened? Like, you want to know what happened that night, what led up to it, like how did everything get here, why is he in prison? And then I assume, because that's generally what happens in these books, everybody's going to come back to the college and we're going to find out what actually happened that night. And yeah, and where I was, not really much had happened in that timeline, but a lot had happened in the college timeline. So excited to see what happened and finish that. No, it's kind of embarrassing that I just like quit halfway through, but you know, if you're not feeling a book at a time that you think you'll like, I feel like there's nothing wrong with this little soft DNF and coming back to it when you're in the mood for it. Next is, this is kind of pushing dark academia, but the brothers Hawthorne, they're smart people and they're mysteries and it's dark. I don't know, but this is, it's not a sequel exactly because it's not, the Inheritance Games is a completed trilogy. So this is just the next book. Like, authors do that sometimes. I think that's what like the Red Rising thing is. It was like a completed trilogy and now there's like another book, quartet or something. So yeah, so it's just that. It just follows two of the brothers on their little journeys. I think it's stuff to deal with like their fathers and it's very interesting. I loved these characters and I love Jennifer Lynn Barnes' writing. Yeah, I'm just really interested in seeing what happens with it. And I love the cover. Like, I love all the little things that when you're done with the book and you go and like look at the cover after, you're like, oh, that's that. Like, yeah, there's nothing more Hawthorne than winning. And I feel like a lot of people like the naturals more than the Inheritance Games, but I had a good time with all of them. Like, I'm not expecting literary masterpieces. I was just expecting fun little puzzles and I got that. And I really liked Avery, and that just is fun. It's nice to like, when you're reading a bunch of like dense like murder books, it's good to like have a little light YA. Along the same lines, a YA, but I don't think it's light, is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I've been so excited for this. I love anything Arthurian. I've heard so many good things about this. This basically follows a girl who ends up at like a special school. Yeah, she goes to college and basically like ends up discovering like this secret Arthurian magic society thing and that she has magic and all this stuff. And yeah, I'm just very, very intrigued by the whole concept. It's like, yeah, there's Merlin and legend. It's just, I'm gonna love this. And I actually think that I might do a reading blog with Legendborn and Silver in the Bone, which is also an Arthurian inspired story. So Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken, who also, she wrote some other books that were like kind of big, but I haven't read any of those. It follows this, it's like a, I think this one is like kind of like an urban fantasy. I think this one is a lot more like fantasy. So there's like something where the main character is like tracking down this magic ring from Arthurian legend and all of that kind of stuff. It's magic and quests and all of the fun Arthurian kind of stuff. And I love this cover, like with the sword. So I'm hoping for like some Excalibur kind of stuff. And I believe there's a romance in this, and the sequel and the release date of the sequel has just been announced, and I think it's coming out like next spring. So now I'm like, okay, now I can read it, because I hate when you're like waiting for something forever and there's no date and you're like, well, by the time that comes out I'm gonna forget it. But if you read it this fall, I will remember it in the spring. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I think it'd be fun to kind of compare like a fantasy world and a urban world and see what they take from Arthurian. I've read the original Arthurian legend and many other books about it, so that's exciting. Then I have A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw, which I've heard like a lot of mixed things about. Some people I feel like really don't like it, but it's like, there's like, it's about missing people in this community. It's called Pastoral. This reclusive community was founded in the 1970s by like-minded people searching for a simpler way of life. So yeah, so this investigator like goes to investigate this missing person, and then I think he ends up disappearing, and then there's people trying to figure out what happened, and there's multiple POVs and multiple timelines, and I am such a sucker for that kind of stuff. I've heard that some people wish that it like had almost gone like further in like the weird, creepy fantasy realm or something. So, but yeah, it says, a story about fairy tales, our fear of the dark and losing yourself in the wilderness of your mind. I'm like, that sounds like something I'm gonna love. Yeah. Also, so excited to read In My Dreams to Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I read The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead in May, I think, and loved it. Loved her writing. This is one of those classic dark academia where it's this group of friends, a murder happened, and here we are reuniting years later, like, to figure out what happened. So I'm so excited about that. So it follows a girl who I guess people think she murdered their friend, and you're trying to figure out what happened. And yeah, I'm just really excited about it because I love her writing. I love her characters. I think she's really good at writing really complex female characters who like aren't necessarily likable but also aren't necessarily unlikable either. They're just human, like, and they're not asking you to like them or to be okay with everything they're doing, but they're just asking you to like understand them. And I think that is a really great talent, and I love split timelines and all of that. So I know I'm gonna love this. If I was doing a 5-star prediction video, this would be on it. Another weird book, this is All's Well by Mona Awad. I haven't read any Mona Awad. This is the only one I own. If I love this, I definitely would read Bunny. My girlfriend loved this. It's basically, it follows this woman who, she's like a theater teacher? Yeah, something like that. She teaches theater, and her students want to put on Macbeth. She wants to put on All's Well That Ends Well. That's a drama about it or whatever, but she also, the main point of the book, she has like chronic illness, she has like mental health stuff, there's elements of like speculative, like what is real, what is in her head, like is this happening, is it not, like what is reality, is she a terrible person, or are these people terrible to her? So very interested in that. Love an unreliable narrator, love crazy shit, love not knowing what's real and what's made up. And I love Macbeth. Like, and pieces of fiction that use Macbeth imagery. I think it's a great play for that. And then last but certainly not least, probably the thing I'm both most excited for and most terrified of is Babble by R.F. Kuang. The book is massive, and I can't remember the last time I read a long book. Yes, I can. It was Lee Bardugo, like Six of Crows type of stuff. But this has gotten so many amazing reviews. I feel like I'm gonna love it, but that also makes me scared that I'm not gonna love it. It is such like a classic dark academia. It follows this main character who is brought to London and studies languages, and it's like all about linguistics and translation and all of that stuff, which I find so interesting. But really, I know the point of it is like colonization and racism and all that stuff, and a lot of the characters in it are terrible people, and I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's about Oxford and higher education. I think a lot of her books are about much deeper things than like what you get from a plot summary. So I'm excited and scared, and I hope that I love it. I'm not saying anything about a 5-star prediction for that because that stresses me out. But this is definitely one that I'm like, you need to finish this before you ask for another big book for Christmas. Like, so that is that. I guess I'm gonna be hopefully reading 2 R.F. Kuang books in the next couple months. Let's see if I love her. But yeah, so that is my fall, autumn, dark academia, spooky season TBR. I'm not a huge horror person, so I always wish that I could like do more horror, but I can't, so I really lean into the dark academia kind of stuff, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah. So let me know if you've read any of these books, if you want to read any of these books, if you have any great like dark academia recommendations that I won't pick up now, I will put them on my Christmas list and then read them next fall. Yeah, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.